are you? It's Reagan Andrews again, your friend in real estate with Houlihan Lawrence. Today I thought I would take you through final walkthroughs. It's really important if you're a buyer to do a final walkthrough right before you go to the closing. And when I say right before, I mean, within 24 hours before closing. Most of us like to try to do it on the same day. So I thought I'd take you through this house and use this as an example of the things that you should be doing when you're doing your final walkthrough. So let's go through the house and see what we should be checking. So the first room that we usually start off in is the kitchen, because the kitchen has the most appliances and we want to make sure that all of them are working. So in this case, I'm going to start with the stove and I want to turn on all the burners. I want to make sure that in this case it's an electric stove. I want them to all heat up, turn red. They are. This is great. The range top is working. Now I want to make sure that the oven is working. I'm going to set it to bake. I'm going to turn it on. And I'm going to come back in about 5 or 10 minutes to make sure that the oven is working. I don't necessarily need it to come to 350 degrees, but I do need to know that the heat is coming on. So you just want to make sure that it's working. When we come over to the dishwasher, we want to make sure that the dishwasher is working. So in this case, I have set it to rinse. I don't need to do a full 2-hour cycle. I just need to know that it's working. And you can see that it went from 8 minutes to 7 minutes, so it's working. The next thing you want to do is you want to turn on the water. You want to make sure that you're getting hot water, okay? So if I'm getting hot water, which I can feel here, that tells me that the hot water heater downstairs is working. These are all things that we need to make sure. Now, when I come to the refrigerator, there isn't much I can do here other than to put my hand in, make sure that it feels cool. This is a fancy refrigerator, so we have some cooling drawers in the middle, and then down at the bottom we have our freezer, all of which are working. I don't have a glass to check to make sure that the water is working, but you would also check this to make sure that the water and ice is coming out. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our washer and dryer is working. Now again, guys, I don't need to run it for the full cycle, but I am going to set it. This is called speed wash, which for this brand means that it's going to be a quick wash. It's 20 minutes. I'm going to hit start, and I can already hear it working. As far as the dryer is concerned, again, I'm going to turn it on. This is 32 minutes. I'm going to let it run for a minute. I'm going to stick my hand in it to make sure that the air is hot inside once it's had an opportunity. And again, I know it's working. So in this house, we have a gas fireplace, and I want to make sure that it's working. So when I go ahead and flip the switch, I can see that the gas fireplace came on, and that's telling me two things. One, that the fireplace is working, and more importantly, the propane tank that it's connected to is open and delivering it with gas. Okay, so now we're going to walk around the house and make sure that the house is in good order, that it is broom swept clean, which the majority of contracts require. So let's go around and see what we have. Want to make sure when you're going through and testing all the appliances, we want to make sure the furnace is working, right? So in this case, we want to turn on the heat, and you're going to jack it up for like 5 or 10 minutes to, 70, 80 degrees to make sure that the house heats up. Now, if it's the summer, you'll probably want to turn on the AC to make sure that's working. Now, here in the Northeast, we can't turn on the AC when it's cold outside. I think that it has to be 60 degrees or higher in order to safely test your AC units. But this is something else you're going to want to check when you're going through your final walkthrough. It's also a good practice to walk around the outside of the house as well to make sure everything is in good shape, just like it was on the inside. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that the garage doors close. It's not considered an appliance to the house, but we certainly need to make sure that they're working properly. So the other thing you want to double check for is, did you make any purchases from the seller above and beyond the listing? In other words, did you buy a kitchen table with chairs? Did you get a couch? Did you buy a TV projector like we have downstairs in the finished basement? If these are things that you did purchase from the seller, you want to make sure they're here. Now guys, this all sounds very basic, but when you're in the heat of the moment, you make these, agreements, and they're 6 to 8 weeks ago. So make sure you and your realtor go with your list of things that you purchased that should be left behind, and your listing to make sure that all the blinds and the light fixtures were left. So this brings us to the end of my final walkthrough video. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call me. My name is Reagan Andrews with Houlihan Lawrence. My cell phone's 914-255-8078.